Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to film a video talking about the planner that I'm going to be using this year, the most exciting part of this for me, and also goals, setting goals for the new year, my 2021 goals, how I think about them, what works for me with goal setting, and just kind of kick off one of my big goals for the year, which is to post one YouTube video a day by announcing that goal. So I've actually already filmed this video once and it just was like at a desk. It just felt a little too stuffy and I don't know. So here I am now in the place where I might spend most of my time, and I definitely spent most of my time in 2021 on the floor in my living room leaning against my couch. I've got my dog in her favorite spot behind me on the couch. This is Pickles. And we're gonna talk about our 2021 goals in planning with you. Pickles will talk about her goals. We'll get to her goals later after she wakes up from her nap. So to start off, the planner that I'm gonna be using this year is the Golden Coil planner. If you guys haven't heard of Golden Coil, it is a customizable planner website. I first found out about them from Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and I supported that Kickstarter and got my planner, and I've gotten one every year since. This is my third year. I love them. The quality is beautiful. The colors, the design, the neutrality, it just speaks to me on a very deep level. I will say, I always buy mine during the Black Friday sale because it's a little bit expensive. But to be fair, it is a planner that is being made specifically for you, so it's worth it to me. I brought my whole stack of Golden Coils with me to talk about in this video so I could show you the covers. I never plan on keeping these. I do give them to you with a keepsake box, and I am kind of not a clutter person, but I'm also a sentimental person, so I never plan on keeping them. And yet here we are. So this is the first cover that I got. I think this is the Seafoam green color maybe. This is my favorite of any of the planner covers that I've gotten from them. It is beautiful. I love all my planners, but this one, this year, I think this was 2019, when I had it on my desk, it just brought me so much joy to see it. So this is the first one that I got from them. Then the next year I got, I think it's the wheat color. And this year I added a little sticker to the front to cover the Golden Coil, which I did again because I liked it. And my planner for this year is the evergreen color. So they're beautiful together. Oh my gosh, I mean, how stunning are they? If you don't like planning but you love beautiful notebooks, they actually just do notebooks too, so you can make a customizable notebook. But I get a planner obviously and I am going to show you guys briefly how I set it up. One thing I want to say really quickly is if the layout for this planner speaks to you, the cover, sort of the linen feel of it, and the ring bound, the kind of goldish ring, but you don't want to spend what I think is probably like $60 to $80 for a planner. Like I said, I always get mine in the sale. I would recommend checking out Appointed Co. I'll link them below. I've gotten some notebooks from them. They're beautiful. The quality is beautiful. And I've actually looked at their planners for this year and they look very similar. They have the same linen cover, the same kind of golden coil. Theirs are more of a bronze color, I want to say. And the font and the design inside the planner is very minimal and it mimics the Golden Coil. Like I said, I have a couple of their notebooks. The one thing that really shines in the Golden Coil is the paper quality, and the paper quality is not as nice in the Appointed Co planner, but it is maybe a third of the cost. So if you kind of want to get started planning, if it's not something you've done before, if you want to test out using this type of planner, I know that it was nerve-wracking to me to move from a ring-bound planner into a coil-bound. I would recommend checking out the Appointed Co planners and maybe kicking off with one of those for this year. Anyway, okay, I'm going to show you the inside of my planner and the layout that I chose. And the things that I chose to add. The first page that I'm going to kind of gloss over because I have my personal information on it is the year, and then I have my name, phone number, email, and a quote. My quote for this year is, "Be fearlessly and authentically yourself." And then I've got a year at a glance. I don't use this part of my planner that often, but sometimes it's nice to look back on. I always add it in anyway, just in case, and I pretty much copy over the dates from year to year. Then I've got the goal pages. I'm going to talk about goals at the end of this, but I break down this page by doing life goals, yearly goals, and then in the monthly areas, I do quarterly goals. So Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. And then I actually think I'm going to use the daily goals this time. So I'll talk about that when we get there, but I didn't use those last year. Then I've got the month at a glance. The next two pages are just a plain dot grid page. I'm going to use this, and I typically do use this for my vision board. I'm going to kind of briefly insert here a picture of my vision boards from last year. I definitely do a January vision board, and this is kind of my vision board for the whole year. And then occasionally when I'm feeling inspired or I've collected enough images that feel like they're speaking to me at that moment, I'll do a monthly vision board too. And those are just like a fun creative outlet for me. And then we've got the first week at a glance. I chose this layout, which is, I think it is a 1 week at a glance. And then I have to-dos, priorities, gratitude, meals, habits. I've chosen to add a quote to all of my pages, and then I have my week at a glance. There are a ton of templates for your planner when you're building your golden coil. That's one of the great features. You're not only adding your name and your own quotes and choosing quotes for the weeks and choosing where you want to have notes pages, if you want note pages, what kind, trackers, different things that you can add. You can even add your contacts in there. But you also get to choose the layouts for your weekly, monthly plans. So I like a week at a glance. I keep it pretty simple. On a good week, I have all the areas filled out, and then on an average kind of week for me, when I'm maybe planning a little bit less, I definitely have a couple to-dos, and I definitely put a couple things on my weekly planner, if it's only just dinner at my parents'. So I love this. To me, planning is not critical to keeping my day-to-day life in order. I, like I mentioned, have a work calendar. I'm not necessarily like juggling that many personal meetings outside of that. But it really helps me stay in line with my goals, and it helps me stay on track of just the life things that I need to do. Sometimes, like in advance, I will write the week that I have to pay my credit card bill. I'll just make that a to-do. The week that I have to pay rent. If I have to make a return to a store and I've gotten an item and I know I don't like it, I immediately make return to Madewell a to-do on my list, and it just keeps me on top of my life. It makes me feel organized, and the fact that if I don't get it done that week, I'll have to push it over to the next week, typically is motivating enough to me to get things done because I don't want to procrastinate on my to-dos. So this is the layout I chose. You'll see that I have the bookmark that they sell. I love this. It helps me keep track of the day that I'm on really easily. And I also have the golden coil little page markers, and those are nice. And I think they look very attractive in the planner. So I'm not going to go through all of these pages because they're all the same. And I'm going to skip ahead to the back of the workbook where I've got some lists and I have done the last bit of customization in the planner. So back here, I am using the same list that I used last year. It brought me a lot of joy to track these things and to be able to reflect back on them. Sorry, that's my dog shaking next to me. So I like to do a list for the books that I read that year, a list for the movies that I watch that year, and these are just labels made with my Dymo printer, and these are Rifle Paper Co. stickers. And then I am trying this year a new list, which is the stuff that I loved in 2021. And then the last list that I have here is a gift ideas list. I love to do this. This is just a way for me to, if I think of someone and I think of something they like, I just write it down here, and then when it comes time to get them a gift, I have an idea for them. I'm not scrambling at birthdays or Christmas to think of something that is unique and special to people. And that is it. I have some blank pages here at the end of my planner, and then it also comes with a pocket in the back. So I have a couple extra page flags, and then I just have my most used stickers, the things that I kind of use on a weekly basis. So that is my planner. That's what it looks like. That's what I've chosen to use this year. This is an almost identical setup to my planner last year because it worked for me. All right, so now it's time to get into 2021 goals and goals in general. The new thing that I have started doing, I guess maybe I've done this for a couple years now, and I'm really just like feeling like I'm finding my rhythm with it, is I like to make a couple different categories of goals. So let me see, my leg is falling asleep here. We're gonna turn. I have a category of like life goals, and these are goals that are like my deepest heart truth goals, but they may not be something that I'm gonna be doing right now. They might be something that's gonna be a little further out. For example, renovating a home is one of my ultimate dreams, but I'm not gonna be renovating a home this year. So I have a category of life goals, and I keep them here, but I don't, unless there's something that I'm gonna do that year, I don't put them into my goals for the year. Then I do yearly goals, and I break these down by category. So this year I've made 3 categories for myself. One of them is creative, and it is writing, YouTube, creative ventures. This is my biggest goal this year. This is where I want to put the most of my non-working efforts. And then I have financial goals, and then I have personal goals. So these are things like getting fit, which is a goal that I roll over every year, so we'll see. I typically make a list on a piece of scratch paper of my goals for the year. Things that are speaking to me as I'm rounding out the year before, and then I also always look at the goals that I had the year before and look at the ones that I didn't complete. So sometimes I set too many goals for myself. I can't do it all, so I will roll over those goals from the year before. When I do that though, I will look at them, I'll reflect on them, I think about why I didn't complete them, sort of what were the factors involved in not completing that goal, and if that goal still matters to me, and if it does, do I need to rethink it, reframe it, sort of rewrite it in a way that is either more accomplishable or something that is going to be inspiring for me in this new year as I've kind of evolved and changed. So starting out, I just brain dump goals that I'm feeling now, things that I want to focus on in this new year. And then I also look at where I was last year, the goals that I made that I didn't complete, and I create a big new brain dump list. And then I sit with that for a little while. So I think sometimes you have a big list, and by the time you've really sat with it, you can whittle it down to the ones that really matter to you in that moment. I try very hard to create goals that are accomplishable for me. Some people like to just put goals that are goals for whenever down. To me, I really feel validated and productive by accomplishing my goals. So it's not beneficial to me to put a bunch of goals that I'm not going to be able to complete realistically. So I whittle it down to what really feels like it's speaking to me now for this year, knowing that these are always flexible. And I make a new list, a master list for my 2021 goals, still by category. And then I break those categories down into quarterly goals. So I look at all the things I want to do throughout the year, and I think, where do I want to start? If I have a savings goal, maybe I divide that by 4, and the first quarter of that goal I put into my Q1 goals. If I have a really big goal, I think, how do I start that goal? What are the steps to getting that goal going? And I will put that first step, or maybe first couple of steps, in my Q1 goals. And it just helps me feel like I'm tracking things and I'm accomplishing a larger goal at a smaller scale. So that is kind of how I'm doing things now. It's been really helpful for me. I loved it last year. The one thing I will say is I'm obviously doing quarterly goals, so that's 4 quarters, but I only write out my first quarter goals now. I previously tried to break it down and write out all 4 quarters at the same time at the start of the year, and then it just was a real downhill spiral effect of not accomplishing everything that I had in my Q1 goal, so having to erase things in my Q2 goal so I could move Q1 goals over to Q2, and then it was like trickled down to Q3 and Q4, and then it really just like didn't feel good, you know? So I try to hold these lightly and have a bit of grace with myself. So I take my big goals, do my Q1 goals, and then around when Q1 is wrapping up, I will reflect on how that went for me, how I did, if my goals still matter and are aligning with me in that second quarter of the year, and then I'll put in my next steps. So my next saving goal, my next steps to that bigger goal, to help break it all down. So that is how I think about my goals. Some of the big goals that I have for this year, as I mentioned, my first category is writing, YouTube, and creative. The first one I already mentioned. I want to post 1 YouTube video a week. I want to finish a first draft that I've been working on and edit it. So my Q1 goal for that is just going to be finishing it. And then I want to go on some sort of writing retreat, either attend a writing retreat or kind of go on one on my own, depending what the state of things is looking like later on. But that's something I've always wanted to do, a really sort of dedicated writing time. And then what else? I have a little YouTube subscriber goal that I'd like to achieve. It's not very big. And I also want to build out a new blog and kind of get that blog and this YouTube linked up as one place to be able to share blog posts that are tied into the videos that I post here, theoretically, weekly. So those are my current YouTube writing and creative goals for this year. I have a few financial goals that I'm not going to get into. And then for my personal goals, I want to schedule all of my doctor's appointments for the year. I have a weight loss goal, which is a new thing for me, but I think a lot of us are in that same pandemic boat. I want to do a daily spin or a walk. So in December, I did a spin challenge where I did a spin class every day in December, and I loved it. I just got myself a little at-home spin bike, and I do the Peloton app on my TV. It was great. So I'm actually going to be doing that challenge again in January. So a spin every day in January. But as far as a yearly goal, I'm going to be either doing a spin class or a walk a day. I think it felt unrealistic for me to set myself up to do a spin class every day for the year, so I did the walk instead. Okay, the other one is I want to do 1 trip per quarter. No idea what those trips might look like, the size, scale of them, if that's even going to be safe to do in this first quarter of the year. But if anything, I would like to do like sort of 1 small, really safe local trip if that's possible. And then I want to start a ceramic mug collection. I've just been admiring a lot of beautiful ceramicists on Facebook or Instagram and Etsy, and I just never buy them, and I think it's a cool way to support local artisans, and I love a beautiful mug, so I want to start a ceramic mug collection. Maybe even update my dishware in general, a couple new plates and bowls. So that is what I'm thinking for my Q1. Pretty simple. I'm going to try to finish my first draft, not edit it in the first quarter, but finish it. A bad draft is better than no draft, is what I keep telling myself. 1 YouTube video a week, obviously. Setting up my blog and getting that going and connected to YouTube. Build out my monthly budget and save the allotment that I have for this quarter. Daily spinner walk, and then I have tied into that a little weight loss goal. I took my big weight loss goal and I divided it in 4, and I'm not sure if this is how weight loss works, so I will let you guys know how that turns out. I have never really tried to lose weight before. I feel very fortunate and also stressed. And then 1 safe trip. So those are my quarterly goals. I'm feeling excited and inspired by them. I will say a lot of people are stressed out by goals. They're stressed out by New Year's resolutions, the whole kind of concept of it. And I think that if you find it stressful, hold it lightly and don't make goals. Maybe that's not something that you need to be productive in your life. It's definitely something that's helpful to me. And the other thing is, if sort of the January start date is stressful, then start later. Start at your birthday, a time that feels significant to you. I think it's never too early or too late to think about kind of what matters to you in your life and breaking that down into accomplishable little goals. But when it's ready, when you're ready, it'll be ready. So that was a jumble. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today to this very long video. I'm gonna be back very soon with a digital declutter video, one of my favorite things to do at the start of the year, and also a favorites from 2021 video. So happy new year, happy planning, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.